Welcome to SVGTV's news for Wednesday, July 24th, 2024. I'm Triska Campbell with the details. The first round of consultations with hurricane-affected people from Union Island started today at the Methodist Church in Kingstown. Prime Minister Dr. Afghan Salves is leading the consultations. Speaking on NBC Radio's face-to-face program earlier today, PM Salves reiterated the importance of holding the consultations, which will urgently address the students' schooling ahead of the new school term, which starts in September.
Interests of the children, of the students, are paramount. What that means is that all the interests, the educational, the social welfare, health, security, general care, that those interests are paramount. What that means, that those interests take precedence to any other interests.
The Prime Minister noted that Kanawan and Mario are better equipped to house and educate its children. The Prime Minister admitted, however, that the circumstances are not going to be ideal for students on Union Island, and he does not want them to be at a disadvantage.
I don't even know yet, Colville, as to whether I will have all the requisite rooms in guest houses and private homes. But we're checking that out. Because I don't want the children of the Southern Grenadines, and in this particular case Union Island, to be in a position less advantageous as students anywhere else in St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Many people from Union Island are still in shelters on mainland St. Vincent. The second consultations will be held in Clifton, Union Island tomorrow at 1 p.m. A meeting was held this morning between the Prime Minister of SVG, Dr. Afghan Salves, and the President of the Trinidad and Tobago Scrap Metal Association as the issue of garbage, particularly white goods in the Southern Grenadines, is being looked into. This is according to Prime Minister Dr. Afghan Salves, who also raised the issue on NBC Radio's face-to-face program today. Prime Minister Salves noted that the Trinidad and Tobago Scrap Metal Association has made an offer to the Roads, Buildings and General Services Authority, BRAGSA, to help to remove the white goods across the hurricane-affected Grenadine Islands.
The broken up galvanized sheets and the so-called white goods now, you know, mash up television, mash up fridge and stove and washing machine and all the rest of things. And so Bragsa made the arrangements with them, but they wanted an audience with me. And
according to the Prime Minister, the first load of white goods were removed from Union Island today.
With the galvanized, the broken up galvanized and other things, and the so-called white goods and so forth, they're being loaded today. I asked the gentleman who I had breakfast with, he and the lady, the team who came, he said it may take 5-6 trips with the material, but that's an important way for us to barge a lot of the solid waste material, because the environment down there is very fragile, and where we're going to put them and so on.
During the passage of Hurricane Beryl more than 2 weeks ago, many people were injured. With this in mind, the parliamentary representative for the Southern Grenadines, Terence Oliver, asked Prime Minister Salves, who is responsible for security, what specific measures are in place to the Southern Grenadines for people who may be injured during the hurricane to get medical attention on mainland as quickly as possible. Prime Minister Salves explained that emergency healthcare teams are advised not to move during the occurrence of a disaster, as they too could be injured. However, after the all clear is given, people could either be air air-dashed, or the Coast Guard could also carry out evacuations.
Internationally recognized emergency response rules stress the cardinal rule of response teams, including health, not move in during the actual occurrence of an event until it is safe to move, to minimize the rescuers becoming casualties and adding to the disaster and reducing our capacity to respond. Additionally, patients should only be moved, 1, when they are stable, or 2, when no further stabilization can be done in the current location and movement does not increase the risk of harm more than no movement would, and when help cannot be brought to the current unstable patient. Patients in the southern Grenadines, quote unquote, injured during a hurricane will be stabilized at the point of care in the Grenadines. The Ministry of Health, Wellness and the Environment partners with our colleagues in the Coast Guard to transport patients or with private airlines. The Ministry will continue to build capacities of each health district, taking into consideration their unique circumstances.
5 persons from Union Island died as a result of Hurricane Beryl. The Hurricane Beryl death toll stands at 6. Chief Executive Officer of the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Port Authority, Carl James, said they have received support from Global Support Development to assess the ports in the Grenadines following the passage of Hurricane Beryl. Based on initial assessments, he noted that they have an aggressive plan in place to complete all of these port projects by October. James told the Agency for Public Information on Monday that they lost most of the navigation aids in the southern Grenadines and the reinstallation of these navigation aids have commenced. He said the Union Island port is in good condition and the Canawana Wharf was not badly damaged, but he said some of the armor packings have eroded and that they have made arrangements to have them redone. James added that they would be resurfacing the Canawan jetty and said in the medium to long term they are looking to rebuild the Canawan Wharf. He said the designs have already been made available and noted that they will conduct additional stakeholder consultations. James noted that the Miro Wharf has sustained minor damage. As it regards to Beckway Wharf, James said the ferry's Colin 2 is in good condition, but the tender jetty in Beckway received a bit of damage. James said they will rectify the jetty in Beckway in October to provide service to customers. He added that they are contemplating and looking at opportunities to enlarge the tender jetty in Beckway to accommodate larger tender vessels. In a tragic incident last evening, a shooting in Level Garden, Marquis Hill, resulted in the death of a 26-year-old man of Argyle, Romario Bino, also known as Stormy. His girlfriend, Annette Frederick, is said to have sustained shots to her leg and was rushed to the Milton Cato Memorial Hospital by police for treatment. SVGTV News understands that the incident took place around 5:30 p.m. Bino's death brings the total number of killings in St. Vincent and the Grenadines to 29. Meantime, the Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force has launched an investigation into the circumstances surrounding the discovery of a partially decomposed body in Friendship, Canawan. On July 23, 2024, police in a press release said they received a report of a partially decomposed male body that was found in a house at the above-mentioned location. The deceased has been identified as Charlie Compton, a 58-year-old laborer of Friendship, Canawan. Medical personnel were called to the scene and pronounced him dead. A post-mortem examination will be conducted to ascertain the exact cause of death, and investigations are ongoing. The Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force says they are committed to conducting a thorough investigation to determine the circumstances leading to Mr. Compton's death. They are urging anyone with information that could assist with these and other investigations to come forward by calling the police emergency at 999 or 911. Police control at 457-1211. The Criminal Investigations Department's Major Crimes Unit at 456-1810. The Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force also extends its deepest condolences to the families and friends of the deceased during this difficult time. The Madeira Valley Forest in Baibu was not spared by hurricane peril as damage was evident with broken trees on the trail to the summit of the forest park. Owners of the park, the Fitzpatricks, are now trying to see how repairs and cleaning of the trail could be quickly fixed. Ingrid Fitzpatrick says she is thankful that it was only trees that were mainly destroyed, but that she was particularly taken aback at one tree she treasured, the St. Vincent and the Grenadines' national flower.
Very spot. There is this beautiful tree that attracts a lot of bees. It is called the National Flower of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. My heart was broken when I came here and I saw that it was uprooted. It was uprooted. But when I realized the damages done elsewhere, I console myself that I may be able to save it or get another plant. But I will try to see if I'll get some cuttings and then replant one of these beautiful trees elsewhere. So my husband planted it. I think he bought the plant from Botanic Gardens, and it took a long time for it to get to this stage. It was a small tree, and over the years it blossomed and, as I said, attracted a lot of bees.
Like the soufre tree, several of the trees were planted, which took years to grow over the 25 years since the land was purchased.
Areas of the trail that is blocked off by fallen trees. So this week we are hoping to get a work crew to come in here and clear the trail. At least if the trail is cleared, then you know, visits could resume, because the other work that has to be done here, you know, would not prevent visitors. It's just mainly in areas off the trail that the work crew has to clean up, cut up the big branches, you know. Mainly because of the wind, trees, broken limbs, uprooted trees, totally unexpected, not in June. Yes, so when I came up here I was kind of shocked, but still I was thankful that most of the trees are still standing.
Upgrades and repairs were done on the park recently, and even the vertical grass that was planted there in an attempt to help with erosion, but that was not successful. The park remains closed until the trail is cleared, which should be ready to welcome visitors in about a few weeks' time. The Caribbean Natural Resources Institute, Canary, in collaboration with the National Parks, Rivers and Beaches Authority, wrapped up its campaign awareness activities today at the SVG Scouts headquarters in Arnisville. Speaking at the ceremony, Technical Officer of Canary, Yasa Belma, says that the South Coast Marine Conservation Area, which was the focus of the project, is critical as several very important coastal and marine ecosystems are threatened by pollution from land-based and marine sources.
Are threatened by pollution from both land-based and marine sources, habitat fragmentation and loss, invasive species, and climate change impacts such as coral bleaching and coastal erosion. The project takes a landscape approach that integrates ecosystem-based adaptation and a blue-green economy framework. It seeks to reduce risks from climate change and land-based pollution and to promote sustainable resource use and management, particularly within the key sectors of tourism and fisheries.
Belma explained that there are three components of the project, which includes the scaling up ecosystems based on adaptation solutions.
We recently awarded a contract to the Serenity Dive in collaboration with two other dive shops in the area to implement a scaling up of coral restoration in the area. We also, under Component 2, are looking at reducing threats from developing new green enterprises. And under this component, this is where we are looking at raising awareness about the threats and about ways that the local community, including businesses, can reduce the threats coming from pollution and climate change.
Communication and Public Education Officer Twanik Barrow applauded Canary for their vision, as well as providing an opportunity for persons to have training capacity building as it relates to the South Coast Marine Conservation.
Involved in the management protection of the South Coast, that we will be equipped to make informed decision as it pertains to South Coast. From a national park standpoint, we are indeed grateful, sincerely grateful for that support and the continued partnership that we have had with Canary. And I think for myself, as the Communication and Public Education Officer, I've already implemented some of the strategies and some of the things that I learned during that training into our program, because I have a task every year, and my task is to enhance and develop our environmental outreach program.
The total budget for the project grant is US $643,000, which is from the CBF EBA facility program. The project runs until the end of 2024, with the main goal being to pilot a local blue and green economic development model that protects, restores, and sustainably uses coastal and marine ecosystems for ecological, socio-economic, and climate resilience in the South Coast of St. Vincent.